Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to another episode of Code with Annie. So, continuing with our Java programming series, in this episode, we're going to take a look at the concept of public static void main in Java. So, as we know, any Java class that we write, the execution starts from the main, and the main is usually the class which hosts the public static void main method. Although this name could be anything else, it could be employee or it could be something, some service name, anything. But this particular method, it should definitely be of this signature and this particular name. As you can see, it's highlighted in blue, right? So this is a very important keyword that JVM will look for when you start your application in Java. So what is public static void main? So public static void main is the method which is the starting point for your Java application. And as soon as you start your application, right, when you run it, JVM will go ahead and look for this main. The reason it is static is because this class will have no instantiation happening for it. That is, the concept of static methods basically means that when you declare a method as static, you don't have to have an instance of the class to access the method. Let's say I have a static method in employee, for example. I'll say public static string get employee designation. Okay. And I can say return some designation I can return. I don't care about that now. I just want to show you how it looks like. So if I go to the main class and say employee space employee equal to new employee, maybe I pass a name here. All right. You can see this employee dot get employee name is there, but you don't see this method get employee designation accessible via this instance, right? The reason is static methods cannot be accessed through the instance of the class. Instead, those are class properties which can be accessed through employee dot get employee designation, right? So the reason is all the static methods can be directly accessed using the class name without having to create an object for the class or instance for the class. Likewise, main is also a static method because JVM doesn't have to create an instance for your main class to access this method. It will simply call main through main, which is your class name. Okay. Now that's the reason why it's public, because it has to be accessed through JVM. So public will allow you to access from anywhere. Static because you don't want to create an instance of your main class to access this method. Void because main function never returns anything, because as soon as your main program terminates, your entire application will terminate. So there is nothing that main wants to return. Therefore, the return type is void. I'll talk about return types and data types in detail in another video, but just for your understanding, void means this method will return nothing back to you. And string args finally. So why do we have this here? So fun part is you can define string args like this, or you can define them like this. So both ways are acceptable in Java. So you can either put it here, the square brackets, and put the args without the square brackets. All right. So what this means is it's an array of string arguments. So arrays in Java are written like this. Okay. Any array is written as the data type name followed by open close square brackets. So this is array of arguments. Now, who passes the array of arguments? When JVM wants to execute a program with some arguments in it, it can technically have the arguments for you passed via this particular args keyword. So let's say, let me print out this first so that we get rid of that warning there, because it is saying whatever you're printing is not being utilized. So I just removed that warning. Now, what we'll do is, let's say I want to iterate this arg, right? So I'm going to first check if args dot length not equal to 0, meaning I have something in my arguments. Then args dot for, if I put this, you can see three types of for loops here. I'll explain the looping constructs in detail in another video down the line. But for now, what I'm trying to say is, for every argument in args, that is for every element in this array of arguments, that is arg in args, just try to print out the arg. Okay. Return and check. It's saying unwrap if statement. Okay. Yep. Because we are just going to put a for loop. We don't have to check for arg is 0, because if it is 0, this for loop will not execute. So there is no error that will be thrown. So that's the reason why IntelliJ suggested us remove that if condition. That is fine. Now, how do we pass this? So let's say you want to pass arguments to this method, right? Let's go ahead and right click on this main class and go to edit configurations. You find that here? No? Okay. I accidentally ran this, I think. Just a minute. We'll go to run, edit configurations, and main you can see program arguments, right? So I'm going to just pass hi space hello space how are you. Okay, just space separated strings I'm passing. Okay, it can be anything here. It can be numbers, whatever you want to pass. It will be typecasted to string and it will be stored as array of string arguments. So let's say I just want hi, hello, and how are you. I'll just say okay. Right now, let me try to run this again. Now, in addition to this, I should also see hi, hello, and how are you printed out here. See? So args basically what happens behind the scenes is I told you, right? It compiles through Java C space program name.java. So this is the compilation that happens behind the scenes, Java C space main.java. And when it runs it, it says Java space main, and it will execute this main method when I click on the run button there. Okay. But when I have these arguments, what it will do is it will just append it like this. Hi, hello, how are you? And all these three will go and sit inside this array of strings, and that's what you're iterating here through this for loop and printing out. Okay, this explains the concept of string args along with why main is accessible only as static and why it's declared as public, and why this is the entry point for your Java application. Now, if you change the name to something else, let's say new main, it'll automatically not make this class runnable because this is not your main method anymore. This is not your entry point. So this main is a keyword that JVM will look for. And as soon as I change it to main, you can see the run is enabled again. Okay. So keep that in mind and be sure to have the syntax exactly the same whenever you want to define the main. And that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next episode.